Hello, everybody. Let me just set up the screen. And I hope everybody sees it. If there's any feedback, I kind of like having more conversation than presentations, even though I'll do a presentation. So anybody that has any questions at any time, please feel free to chime in and ask. So my name is Owen. The company that I work for and partly own is Virtual Guard. We've been in the security industry for almost 20 years and have been specializing in car dealerships for about 15 years. Just a little funny story of how we started. I sold a camera system to a car dealership in Simi Valley, California. I closed a deal with one dealer, with one of the partners, went to meet the other partner, and the other partner shook my hand and said, thank you for uh, providing us the service. So now that we bought this system, if someone steals a car from me at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'll be able to see exactly who it is. And I looked right at him and I said, absolutely not. And he looked at me a little bit weird because he just handed me a very nice check. And I said, you have about 8 acres here. You have 16 cameras. At that time, they were still analog. So if someone goes by the camera, maybe, but you're covering a lot of area. So he said, okay. So if someone steals a car from me at 2 o'clock in the morning, the system would let me know. And I said, well, the system records motion only, but so every time there's motion, it's going to send you an email, but it's not a true motion detector. So there's going to be a lot of false alarms. So it'll wake you up many times at night. And he looked at me and he said, I don't want it to wake me up. I want it to wake you up. And that was kind of a light bulb moment for us where we understood that there's a serious problem with security at dealerships. Needless to say, in the last 20 years, the problems have gotten much worse, as well as the fact that the dealers now have a lot more activity after hours when their employees are not there, and that's mostly what we're going to talk about today. We specialize in live video monitoring, which is the idea that we install cameras and speakers at the dealerships. We have people of multiple levels that I'll talk about soon. When someone comes in after hours, we get an alert. A person hears woo woo, and he gets a live video. At that time, he starts figuring out what's going on. Initially, politely ask the person to leave, something along the line of thank you for coming and view our inventory. However, we're closed at this time. Please feel free to come back during business hours tomorrow. And if the person does not react, become more and more assertive. So what really happens after hours at dealerships? So obviously the whole EV charging stations is just a new whole experience for us where dealerships leave it open 24 hours. You might have customers that come in and charge at night when nobody's there, quiet. And at that point, safety becomes more important to them. But it's not the only one. So we have service drops, we have parts delivery, we have cleaning crew. And why is that important? It's important because car dealers, uh, basically more than any other business, have a lot of assets. You guys have anywhere from 5 to I don't know $100 million of inventory out there. And the more and more the cars are becoming technological, the actually parts within them are becoming more valuable. So much so that if you steal a headlamps of a Mercedes, it can be worth over $2,000. So even if you sell it at 25 cents on a dollar, it's a $500 item that so you don't even need to steal the whole car. And the presence of all these people gets divided into two things. One is when it's customers, you want them to feel safe. So you want someone to be able to use your EV charging station safely. You want someone to be able to drop the car after hours safely. But at the same token, if someone jumps the fence or if someone comes in to steal a catalytic converter, you need a system that enables you to see it and act in accordance to it. So what do we do? Basically, we break our process into three different sectors. One is detect. We have an AI technologies that basically recognizes and classifies whatever is in the image and provides an alerts when it sees a car or a person inside your property. Once it detects and sends the alert, our software then sends the guard the alert with a live video and the last 10 seconds in a loop so he can see what triggered the alert as well as what the person is doing right now. At that point, the person decide what he sees. Obviously, if it's a charging station, either we don't say anything, or if you would like for us, we can actually play a recorded message that says, thank you for using our service. Just so you know, we're monitored 24 hours a day, so please feel free and safe to enjoy our products. Same thing with visitors. At a certain point, we don't want visitors walking too much because we want to make our job easier as when a true intruder comes in. Once we talk with them with a recorded audio, we go to live audio. We now have a brand new cameras that also have strobe lights on it. So if it's an intruder, you follow it up with a siren and lights and voice. And I will tell you, 99 people out of 100, once they hear us say, "You with the red shirt, please leave immediately," they will leave the premise and walk away. The 1% is who we call the police for, and that's what we do. If the person does not listen, we call the police. Our motto is to prevent crime before it happens. The whole idea is, the sooner I talk to a person, even if it's a polite thing about telling him, "Hey, we're watching you while you're, charging your car, so you can feel safe." But one, if you have an intruder that comes close and he hears the person talking. Two, if a person is, not that nice and he charges and wants to do something else, but the mere fact that they know they're being watched deters them from doing something bad. Our goal is to keep honest people honest and call the police when the thieves come in. So who is on property? We talked about the charging and the cleaning crew. You also have late customers and early employees. This is very important because the key about video monitoring and its ability to be efficient is the idea that you find a needle in a haystack. You need to find the one guy that came to steal the catalytic converter out of 100 alerts of people that are supposed to be there. So the way we achieve it is we created 3 levels of guards. My first level guards receive the initial alerts and decides what he sees. If he sees a repetitious authorized action, such as charging station, cleaning crew, he transfers it to a special trained people, different level. We call them A+. And what they do is their job is to judge the routine, meaning if it's a parts delivery, all alerts from that site will come to them. And as long as it's the parts delivery, they'll continue to process that alert. However, if they see somebody that is not parts delivery, it is their job to be very focused and send it back to the people who manage the events. This is very important because, to give you an indication, we process over 100,000 alerts every night. And we call the police, 10, 20 times. So the amount of intruders that you have out of over 100,000 alerts is a very small number. So you need to judge it correctly. You need to handle it correctly. But when at risk, you need to work fast, precise, and call the police as soon as possible. So the different things that we do is, one, we protect the people, we protect the inventory. We also, it's not only theft, it's also a lot of vandalism that you prevent with the right protection. One of the things we do is we constantly go to the perimeter because car dealers are so large. And the idea beyond that is that if you got him the second he got in, especially a criminal, the faster you tell him there's a high chance of him getting caught, the higher the chance he'll turn away and go somewhere else. So that is very important in protecting your full perimeter over hours. In terms of service and parts, one of the things that we'll do is we'll give you suggestions of where to put cameras for your own purposes inside your dealership. So in addition to the video monitoring, you're going to have a recorder that records the information for a minimum of 30 days. And will give you the ability to allow different people in the dealership to view the cameras and see what's going on. And that can be used for a million reasons. Like, for example, one of the easiest ways to steal is to put, especially a small part, if it's valuable, take it during business day, throw it to the garbage, and then come after hours to pick it up. So, having the coverage in multiple places can create the video that can prove if an employee did something that is not proper. The other thing that we provide is we provide temporary coverage. So if you have a holding lot that you're renting for 6 months. We have a solar with a 4G solution that we can put in the middle of a forest with nothing else. And also in case of construction, you want to move stuff out and put it on trailers, we can do that as well. For multiple rooftops, we've been very valuable. Our largest customer is AutoNation. We have over 200 stores, and the ease of use in having one software that gives you the access to all of your locations, and you can actually set up views where you can set up all back doors, all showrooms, and then you double click it and it just shows you the multiple locations, makes it very easy to use the camera system all beyond what we do, which is guard you at night, as a good management tool. So what is that we do? We protect you anytime after hours, real time, live, with audio, with strobe lights, preventing the crime before it happens. It's an event-based response, which is why we're so much cheaper than a security guard and also much more effective. But only when something happened do we go into action. But if you have 16 cameras outdoors, it's like having 16 security guards that will never call in sick, will never fall asleep, are just there watching, and when something happened, they're reported, and the guard on the other side immediately looks at it, responds to it, and call the police. The new strobe lights in the camera are also an amazing deterrent with the audio. I mean, one of my favorite parts of installation, when the install is over and we do the final walkthrough, whether being the general manager, the service manager, whoever walks with us, we call our headquarters and we do an audio check. And the reaction by the people when they hear the audio is one of my favorite times to see how the customer appreciates what is done. The nice ROI of what we do divides into two things. Obviously, if you have any cost of security guards, patrols, whatever service you have, from security guards, we're going to be 30 to 35% of the cost of a security guard. From patrol, it's really a matter of how many patrols you have. But beyond the actual cost saving, it's also the 24-hour coverage everywhere that we do it. And that coverage allows you to have a much better, reliable system. We also have a solution where in cities like in Los Angeles, for example, we have a lot of customers, there's a problem with response time of the police. So what we do is we subcontract the patrolling services where we call them only when it's needed. So you pay per reaction charge, which will be much cheaper, and they'll guarantee you to be there much sooner than the police will, and you get some kind of response when people are there. Like I said, proactive, good price, and one of the things people don't realize is the parts. This is the biggest thing I've seen is just, we think about car thefts, but the amount of money we lose on tires, catalytic converters, mirrors, tailbacks, everything is so much more, because it's not only the fact of the cost of the part, it's also the opportunity cost of fixing it, taking it offline, and doing all those things. So the ROI of all that, the virtual guard system will pay for itself very, very quickly. In addition, we have a program where you don't have to spend any CapEx money. So we basically, if you would want to, we'll sell you something called a system for life, where we will take the cost of the system, divide it over 36 months at 0 interest, and add it to the monthly fee and just give it to you as a service. And the idea is that if you stay on month 37 and you stay with that program, you will have a lifetime coverage of labor, parts, and upgrades. Meaning if in 2.5 years a camera went bad, I will not replace it with the same camera that you bought. I will replace it with a present day technology. So as long as you stay with that program, you'll never ever have to pay for equipment again. Because what happens is once you start using the better cameras, then you need to upgrade the servers and the speakers, and you slowly. So if you talk about the first 3 years and then the next 3 years, you basically are purchasing your future system, but you have one monthly cost that includes all service with the exception of, things covered by your insurance company. And everything else, will cover by us. And one of the things that we do with that system is it allows us to be proactive without you needing to approve things. I mean, we'll let you know we're coming, but if you're not going to pay for the service when the camera is down, we immediately send someone, let you know he's there, because we want to make sure the camera is up, because as long as we protect you, we know there's no reason for you to leave us. The other thing we do is we go through every single one of the cameras that we have in the field, and we see 4 images of that camera every day. The day it was installed, this morning, the night it was installed, last night. And if there's anything that so there's a ping process that tells you if cameras are working, but that will not tell you if a camera is out of focus, if a big truck parked in front of a camera, if there's a tarp that is on it, if you had a branch of a tree that fell in front of it, if there's water damage. All those things will not be visible through pinging a camera. And our product, when we go through the camera, when we see something, we proactively create a service call that then my IT team deploys and makes sure it fixes. So our uptime of the cameras, which is another thing, and I'm sure a lot of you had cameras, the most annoying thing about cameras is that the day you need them, they did not work. The day you need them, they did not operate well. And that's what we're trying to prevent. So we look at the health every day. We try to make sure they're on. We also are very, very customer centric. My salespeople are involved with their accounts constantly because even though you'll have the number for service and for everybody, if for some reason someone doesn't answer you in a timely manner, I want you to have a representative that will just call them and get things moving. And that's how we try to operate constantly. So the only questions that you should be asking yourself is who's in your property after hours? I always tell people it's not a matter of if, it's only a matter of when. You can have it before or after, unfortunately. And I can tell you the amount of times I call the police have increased exponentially. The lack of respect for police and, people just thinking they can do whatever they want. I have seen security need and events go sky high. Also, how to protect your customers and how to protect your assets. And that's what we bring to the plate. And if you have any questions, please feel free. All right.
Fantastic. Thank you, Owen. And so that is it for today's webinar. We actually finished before the hour is up. We will be sending a follow-up email with a recording to everybody that's registered today. And what we covered today were 3 parts of the same experience that are already happening in your dealership every day. When those pieces come together consistently, it shapes how customers feel about your store and whether or not it's a place they want to be. So on behalf of the shop, we appreciate you for taking the time today. And also thank you to Owen, Brian, and Ryan for presenting today. This concludes our webinar. Thank you, everyone, and have a great afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks all.